Welcome back. WNS spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of quality, high-definition conversation here. And I go up right now to beautiful Marlton, New Jersey, to the Casa de Baldi, where he is mad at work breaking down playoff tape. Sadly, Brian Baldinger, none of it resembles the purple film of the Baltimore Ravens. Dude, these are tough times here, man. You know, you played on some good teams, a lot of bad teams, through times, elimination, all that stuff. I mean, we're still stunned here at what happened on 4th and 12 on Sunday, Baldy.
You should be. You should be, because I can't imagine how Tyler Boyd still got behind your defense. I understand that, you know, it's 27-24. You don't want to give up the field goal, so you want to create some pressure. You just don't want to give them a completion and allow them to kick the field goal, but you don't want Tyler Boyd to get behind you either the way that he did. And so 4th and 12, you're one play away from going to the playoffs and, you know, having a brand new season. And I don't know where you're going, Jacksonville, or wherever you're going to go. And now it's not going to happen. And it's gut wrenching. I put it out there on Twitter yesterday. It's gut wrenching to lose like that. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't want to hear anybody tell me, well, there's other plays in the game. There was one play to make in that game. It was 4th and 12, a play that, you know, in walkthroughs and situational football and off-season work and preseason, you spend a lot of time defending that play so that you can win a game. And they didn't. And that's got to be the most frustrating thing for a Raven fan and a player or any part of that organization.
Baldy, I've said this, and I'd say it to John if he were here, or Eric, or anybody else, Ozzy, anybody I like, but I mean, I was so stunned when it happened. I mean, Luke and I were literally packing our stuff up. We were, you know, arguing whether we were going to go to Oklahoma Joe's or Jack's Stack first when the plane landed in Kansas City, because we were headed to Kansas City, Baldy. And you know how good that barbecue is out there. I mean, I know you as an eater. So, I mean, I had all this on my mind. I had my room. I had, my mind on my money and my money on my mind. I had my car. I was like, are we playing the 4 o'clock or the 8 o'clock? And, I'm getting all gassed up about a Chiefs. I mean, I love Arrowhead. It's a great place to go and watch a game. You know, parking lot. I wonder, hey, maybe it'll be 40 degrees. Maybe we'll get lucky. You know, maybe we'll get an after 1 o'clock game on Sunday when the weather will be. So I'm thinking all this through, and then this happens, and I'm speechless. But I had never thought about this, Baldy. I was going to get on the elevator, but they were shut down for the coaches, and I walked the 2 levels down. And as I walked down, I thought, wow, I might be attending the final press conference of John Harbaugh right now, and I have never thought that. And I thought in other organizations where you have 30,000 empty seats because of the knee, because of whatever would possess 30,000 people to have tickets they don't use anymore, which is what's going on in our community, and that's part of a much larger picture. But that's on Steve Bisciotti's mind. That's on Dick Cass's mind. That's on everybody's mind in the organization, because they were there, too, on Sunday and saw the 30,000 people decided to not show up to see a 9-6 football team play. So on top of that, now this is going to be where the season ends. Boy, there are a lot of organizations that wouldn't be able to withstand this. Ozzy's been here 22 years. Steve's never made a decision in that department other than keeping the people he's had. He's made one decision in coaching ever. The team hasn't made the playoffs 4 out of 5 years, 3 years in a row now. Boy, if you put this down on NFL Team X, you would see the end of a lot of Super Bowl head coaching eras, wouldn't you?
Possibly. Look, Dean Pease retired. Maybe, like, I love Dean Pease, and I thought he was one of the reasons why the Ravens were still in this thing up until the final 4th and 12 conversion. I don't know. They're never a knee-jerk reaction organization. It's what makes them the Ravens. But it is not going in a good direction as an organization right now. I mean, it just isn't. The success isn't there. The fan base is whittling away. I think it's one of those times as an organization where you got to sit around the round table and look at everything. Steve Bisciotti with the head coach, with the general manager, with Dick Cass, the president. I mean, you just got to sit down and just see exactly where you're at, why this is happening. I think you have to ask all the hard questions. I think you have to look at all of the opportunities and all the possibilities. And I think that's where they're at right now. This isn't I don't think this is just a regular end of the year, came down to the final play, we didn't make it, let's get ready for next year. It looks like it's a much bigger end of the season conversation than what they've had.
Well, the question would be, are we going to win a Super Bowl while Ozzy's running it? Are we going to win a Super Bowl while John's running it? Are we going to win a Super Bowl while Suggs is playing on it and Flacco is quarterbacking it? You know, I think those are all very realistic. I don't know the answer to that, and I don't know what the gut would be, but there's only one guy that makes that decision, as we learned when Brian was fired, which is Steve. I mean, I don't know what side of the bed he woke up on, but it was the first time I walked those steps downstairs and thought, boy, I wonder how Steve's taking this, and I bet it's not good right now. And, you know, the whole thing has been such a cluster with the fans and the empty seats on top of all of this, plus the injuries. And then, you know, Baldy, then there's the other side of this. They found a running back. They found some players. Judon can get after the quarterback. Suggs looks rejuvenated. Flacco looked healthy and pretty good at the end of the year. Ryan Jensen plays a little center, and it's okay. I mean, they regrouped from 4 and 5. They won a lot of games. They almost should have won in Pittsburgh. Just there's a lot of things to say, all right, good stuff happened, but on the whole, there's nothing they're going to be able to sell to you or me or anybody else between now and September that they're going to come back and be an 11 or 12 win football team next year.
Well, I mean, a lot of things can happen. I mean, we've seen teams turn around. I think the most disappointing thing, to be honest with you, if I was looking at what's going to happen next weekend in Kansas City, is Tennessee's going to the playoffs. And they look anything but a playoff team, at home against Jacksonville. They were horrible. I mean, they couldn't execute a play. Jacksonville smothered them. Now, they lost the game, but, I mean, that didn't look like a playoff team at all. And Baltimore looked like a much better team than Tennessee does. And that's probably the most heart-wrenching thing, is I think the Ravens got to themselves to a point where they looked like a playoff team. Yeah,
I bought in. I mean, we started to believe, right? When it's 4th and 12, you believe. You know, they looked the part in Pittsburgh that night. They did, right?
Yeah, no. They can compete. They can compete. And, but you have to be realistic about everything. All those questions are fair questions, Nasty. And I don't think that you can just sweep any of this stuff under the rug and say, okay, well, nobody can get the injury bug like we got last year and we'll be fine. But I don't know if they're going to be fine. If you Marshall Yanda and they get all the guys back, it's great. I mean, on paper they're a much better team, but are some of the other issues still going to sort of rear their head? I mean, the offense is still going to be stuck in the mud for many weeks at a time, and they can't get the ball down the field. I mean, are all those things still going to occur? It's a wide open AFC. Outside of New England and maybe Pittsburgh on some days. I don't know what they're like minus Antonio Brown. They're not as good. I know that. But there's a wide-open AFC this year, and not to be one of the 6 teams is just flat-out disappointing, however you want to categorize it, and whatever the issues are. And injuries are never an excuse in this business. Your job is to continue to make deals, continue to comb the wire, continue to develop, and get the next guy ready. All those things are all part of a staff and developing players and getting them ready to play.
He is Brian Baldinger. He's been my friend for 2 decades. He's doing it out at NFL Network and, of course, at Baldy NFL, where the legendary Baldy breakdowns are available on that hashtag for play-by-play. Tell everybody what you do, and then we'll get back talking some football, because I know you're breaking down the playoffs for this week, and there's less games you'll have next week and all that, but you really do break down every game, every team, even the slappies that are done at the end of the year or whatever, because you like football that much. But it feels to me like you spend how much? Hour and a half, 2 hours on each game? How much time are you putting in on every game on Monday and Tuesday? It feels like you go pretty 12, 14-hour hard both those days, right?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesdays are basically 14, 16-hour days. But I do all those breakdowns on Twitter just because I love doing them. I do all my other work for the NFL Network, and I get that done first. But then the remaining time is I really am looking at the league. I just think the fans deserve a better look at what really happens. I don't think you can listen to your press conferences and your coaches and players and learn a lot. You just don't learn a lot. I think you have to go back and slow the game down and review it to see what happened in some of these games and some of the plays, why they worked, why they didn't work, some of the exceptional effort that you might have been glossed over by the announcers, and some of the pathetic effort that didn't get pointed out in some cases. And so I feel like That's kind of what I've been doing, and it's been a movement that has been growing, and I think more and more fans have really kind of bought into it and really look forward to watching and listening to it.
Well, there's a lot of crap around football, I mean, no offense to your network or any other one, but sometimes I put these Sunday mornings on, and it's a yuck session and not like ball. And, your thing's always been ball, and I think, for the people that I've been around from Marvin on, it's always been about ball too. And, a lot of that does get lost in all of the he said drama and penalties and this after the game and that when this was said and bulletin board material and all that, but the eye in the sky does not lie, as Joel once said, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, and I just think that you have to comb it. You have to put it under a microscope. You have to look at the fundamentals of the game. I mean, to watch the Oakland Raiders try to run the football this year was disappointing because the fundamentals weren't what they have been. And you could just go team by team. Why certain teams are where they're at. Why the Giants, ended up the season 3-13. I mean, you can look at the breakdowns, why certain players were suspended, certain weeks. I mean, you could just go watch the games and see why all that happened. Why Marcus Peters was suspended by Andy Reid for a week. I mean, you go watch the game and see just the lack of effort and, all that kind of stuff. It's all there. And so, but you can also see just the outstanding. And when the effort is there, to watch Gronkowski block in this league, he blocks as well as any offensive tackle in this league. And, nobody wants to talk about that, but he's phenomenal at that. And he's a big reason why the Patriots are once again the number one seed in the AFC.
Who are your favorite players in the league? You've always you were such a Larry Allen fan back in the day when you and I were doing the show because the position you played and the respect you had for him. You'd always say the best player in the sport. I think you said that about Marshall Yonda at various points as well. But who are you loving watching right now? I mean, I hear a ton about Aaron Donald. I hear a ton about the kid Kamara running the ball for the Saints. And I don't get a chance to watch a lot of it or break it down in that way where I'm seeing 20, 30 carries a game by anybody, but give me a couple of your guys, a couple of your players.
Well, my favorite player to come into the league this year is Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, he's just an advanced student, Nasty. He just advanced, and you can look at all the stats, and that's fine, the interception. Just look at the way that he plays the game. He was coached by Ted Ginn Sr. in Cleveland, Ohio, and he's coached the right way. And he understands the game. He knows how to tackle. He knows where his help is. He knows when he has no help. He knows how to play the best receivers in this league, and he loves the challenge. I mean, he's been an unbelievable player. But a guy like Roger Saffold at left guard for the Rams this year has been an unbelievable player. He's always been a good player, but this year he stayed healthy for all 16, and he was phenomenal. Those two guys jump out. Alvin Kamara, there's nothing that guy can't do. He took a kickoff return back 106 yards the other day, Nasty, against the Bucs. And if it was flag football, nobody would have ripped the flag off him. And if I had my morning cup of Starbucks in my hand, I could have put it on his helmet. He wouldn't have spilt the drop. I mean, he's just that smooth. It was an exceptional rookie class this year. Exceptional. Tre'Davious White in Buffalo, exceptional player. Started all 16 games, and big reason why Sean McDermott could play the coverages that he plays right now. To watch Calais Campbell play the game at the level that he has all 16 games this year he's a remarkable player. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't take plays off. He is an incredible leader. He infects your team. I mean, to watch Jimmy Garoppolo play the position right now, if the 49ers were going to the playoffs in the NFC, to me, they'd be the number one seed. There's nothing that guy can't do. And he's taken a group of receivers by the name of Marquise Lee and Kendrick Bourne, or Marquise Goodwin, and Kendrick Bourne, and George Kittles, and, Taylor, I mean, he's taking these group of receivers, and they look like the 49ers under Bill Walsh right now. And he is an exceptional talent.
We saw a lot of that this year, from Goff to Wentz to Deshaun Watson to Garoppolo, that, there is life after, right? Like, that some of these kids are going to be able to play, but, for every one of them, there's a Blake Bortles that's going to get his chance to go prove himself over the next couple of weeks, and Mariota too, right?
The quarterback position's in good shape. I mean, Marcus Mariota put the team on his back last week against the Jaguars and single-handedly, beat the Jaguars. To watch Jimmy Garoppolo, to watch Jared Goff under, Sean McVay really develop. I mean, to watch Deshaun Watson for 7 weeks, put up 19 touchdown passes, looked like he was going to break every NFL record. To watch Carson Wentz, for his 13 games that he played. Whenever Drew Brees and Tom Brady decide to hang it up, whenever that is, and I don't think it's anytime soon, but when they do, I think the position is going to be in pretty good hands.
He is Brian Baldinger. Baldy NFL is the way to find him. He's been my friend for about 2 decades now. I'll be seeing him in Minnesota. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at King Discount Liquors, Lottery, Beer, Booze, and the best prices in Baltimore. Get on over to Rosedale and give the King a ring. And when I get Baldy down here, I'm going to run him over to Costas Inn. It is good enough for the Today Show with the big fat crabs and the cold beer. The legend continues. You can go see them over at CostasInn.com. Baldy, for these matchups and where we are wild card weekend, there's not a whole lot sexy going on here, but somehow the Saints have become the sexy pick, given Case Keenum, given the Nick Foles experiment going on with Schwartzy and Torrey Smith and Joe D and those buddies of mine up there in your fair city. But Saints, are they the danger team as you see it in the NFC?
They have a lot of pieces, Nath. They have a lot of pieces. Trying to defend Alvin Kamara right now in the passing game is difficult. The 1-2 punch of Ingram and Kamara running the ball behind a really good offensive line. Drew Brees, isn't throwing for 5,000 yards this year. He doesn't need to. It's a completely different offense, but Brees is in control. Defensively, when you can lock up on the outside with Lattimore and Crawley, the safety position has been upgraded with Von Bell, Marcus Williams. Cameron Jordan has always been a good player. They've got a lot of pieces that say the Saints could be really, really good. They've lost their share of injuries this year and all that, but they're a really sound football team. They don't beat themselves. They do a lot of things really well. And if they're able to play their style of football, they're going to be a tough out for anybody.
Baldy, for the rest of the league and for the teams sort of in the wait 2 weeks from now, certainly the Patriots and the Steelers, the cream of the crop, the class, somebody's expecting one of those two to get there and the rest of this to be sort of a preamble for all that. Make a case for any of these other AFC teams not called Pittsburgh or New England, or can you not make a real case for them to be in Minnesota when I see you with that coffee in your hand at 6:20 in the morning after a hot yoga class?
Well, you look at Kansas City and how they finished the season, how they started the season, to see what Kareem Hunt did this year. There's pieces there in Kansas City. You saw them, opening game of the season against the Patriots. They don't play that style of football much anymore. Just that wide open game that they did that week in the first couple weeks of the season. But if Kareem Hunt can run the ball the way he has through much of the season, they're a factor. You watch the way Jacksonville can defend. They can defend right now. They took a good running team in Tennessee and they completely shut them down. That was the one weakness defensively, but there's nothing that defense can't do. And if you stay in the game and the quarterback doesn't turn it over and the offense does a little bit, you can make a case for Jacksonville because that defense shut Pittsburgh down this year. They ran the ball well against them. They went to Pittsburgh and won. That defense is really, really good, and they're really talented. So I can make a case for Jacksonville right now simply because their defense can play that well.
I know you're up there in Philadelphia. Any case you want to make for them, getting there and being able to win this thing and doing this thing with Nick Foles? I see the Vegas numbers are down. It's an unfortunate thing, I think, for everybody, and I make fun of the Eagles fans and their long-suffering, and I know they're your people up there and all that, but that's a very, very unfortunate thing all the way around, I think, for the whole community up there, especially as long as they've waited, and you've lived there for 25 years, so you know that.
Well, Carson was the MVP of this league. He was the MVP, and he played at that level all year. And with him, they could beat anybody, anywhere. Without him, they're struggling. And defensively, it's going to have to carry them. They're going to have to run the ball better than they've ever run it all year. And the quarterback has got to find some level of confidence. He can't play the way he has these last 2 weeks against Oakland, against Dallas. He plays like that. You can't hide your quarterback in the divisional round of the playoffs. I don't care who you're playing against. And if you do get by that game, you can't win an NFC Championship game out of your quarterback. So he's going to have to play better. He's 0 for 15 in his last 15 third down passing attempts. He hasn't converted one of his last 15. So, if that stat stays like that, they're not going to get by anybody right now. But there's 2 weeks to somehow find things that he could do, that he could play better at. but he's going to have to play better than he did in those last two games against the Raiders and against the Cowboys.
I'll be following your pregame walks throughout this postseason. That I'm sticking this one out, man. I'm just going to stay on the outside, just watching it all. Going to stay warm in the comfort of my HD, and I shall see you about 3 weeks from now in Minnesota. Stop by and do a turn with us, and we'll find out where the Baldy Travel Dog schedule's taking you here in the off season, my friend.
I look forward to it, Nasty. I'll be there in Minnesota, so I look forward to seeing you, buddy.
You got it, buddy. There he goes, Brian Baldinger, my friend. Baldy NFL, the way to get the Baldy breakdowns out on Twitter. If you want to know what's up out on the gridiron, you need Baldy. Simple as that. He's also my Facebook friend and my lifer pal. So coffee's on me, Baldy, in Minnesota, 3 weeks from now. Luke and I will be broadcasting from the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota. Sure to be a blustery 9 by the time we get there on January the 28th. But we'll be out there for the week doing Super Bowl 52 coverage. We expect Ray Lewis to be going to the Professional Football Hall of Fame. So that's another thing that'll be big on the circuit that week as all the Hall of Fame voters come by. And I beat him up about Art Modell, as I've done for, 20 consecutive years now or thereabouts. I'm out in the Bayou, Toyota.com, audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from wherever you happen to be. The morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. Morning newspaper, the tech service, and, of course, our fantastic breaking news that happens for you, all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis is going to be here on Thursday. He'll drive you home from 3 until 5. They sponsor our WNST tech service that we never sent the Manny Machado trade out because it never happened, but it's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.